We have all heard the statistic. The claim is that human beings only use 10% of their brains, leaving a vast, empty void of dormant tissue just waiting to be switched on. It is an incredibly seductive idea. It promises that buried just beneath our skulls is the capacity for total recall, telekinesis, and effortless genius if we could only access those phantom reserves. But the 10% rule is a complete fabrication. It has zero basis in modern neuroscience, anatomy, or evolutionary biology. This science fiction fantasy of unearned potential obscures the actual mechanics of the human brain. To trace how this myth became accepted biology, we must look back to the 1890s. Harvard psychologist William James hypothesized that humans only make use of a small part of their possible mental and physical resources. He was speaking philosophically about human drive, not conducting a tissue analysis. But the idea mutated in 1936. Broadcaster Lowell Thomas wrote the foreword to Dale Carnegie's famous self-help book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Thomas wildly exaggerated James's quote, permanently attaching a falsely precise 10% figure to the human brain. This misquote happened to align perfectly with the scientific misunderstandings of the era. Early physiologists mapping animal brains with electrical shocks found large regions that didn't trigger muscle twitches. Lacking modern tools, they simply labeled these unresponsive areas the silent cortex. Later, anatomists discovered that the brain is packed with glial cells, support cells that maintain the environment for neurons. Because glia heavily outnumber actual neurons, the public incorrectly assumed that only a tiny fraction of the brain was actually doing the thinking. A philosopher's metaphor mixed with primitive anatomy, and suddenly we had a permanent pseudoscientific fact that survives today because it promises an easy fix. Today, the neurological baseline is crystal clear. Over any standard 24-hour period, a healthy human uses virtually 100% of their brain. Notice the yellow and green hotspots on these MRI and PET scans. Modern imaging proves everyday tasks demand broad, interconnected networks. Even reading this sentence requires synchronized firing. Your occipital lobe processes text, your temporal handles comprehension, and your frontal evaluates meaning, all simultaneously. The brain does not, however, fire every neuron at maximum capacity all at once. Activating 100% of your neurons simultaneously at maximum voltage wouldn't unlock superintelligence. You would simply experience a massive epileptic seizure. Activity doesn't stop when you sleep either. A system called the default mode network takes over, burning baseline energy to regulate your heart, maintain homeostasis, and consolidate memories while you are unconscious. There are no dark zones in the human skull. Cognition is a constant, shifting distribution of electrical energy, not an on and off switch. By weight, your brain accounts for 2% of your body mass, but demands 20% of your daily energy. Natural selection is ruthlessly efficient. An organism would never sustain such a massive metabolic tax if 90% sat idle. To put that anatomically, if you only needed 10% of your brain to function, a neurosurgeon could safely scoop out the other 90%, leaving you with roughly 140 grams of working tissue. At 140 grams, your brain would be the exact size and weight of a sheep's brain. In the real world, we see the opposite. Stroke victims demonstrate that a microscopic lesion results in devastating losses to speech, loss of memory, or motor control. Both macroscopic evolution and microscopic pathology confirm the exact same truth. Every single ounce of brain tissue is essential for human survival. This brings up an obvious paradox. If we are already using all of our brains, why do we constantly suffer from brain fog? Why do we feel mentally exhausted and inefficient so much of the time? Cognitive bottlenecks, stress, and poor systemic energy management drive mental fatigue, regardless of how much physical tissue is available. When you experience chronic stress, the resulting chemicals actively impair your prefrontal cortex and hippocampus. This physically degrades your ability to make decisions and retrieve information. Your brain does not have a pool of idle temp workers waiting to be hired when a task gets overwhelming. When you underperform, it simply means your biological system is currently overloaded and mismanaged. You do have the ability to expand your cognitive limits. but it requires understanding the real mechanism for growth: neuroplasticity. Intense cognitive training, like learning a language or an instrument, forces the areas you already use to build denser, faster synaptic connections. This network requires strict maintenance. High-quality sleep and nutrition clear metabolic waste, while aerobic exercise increases the volume of the hippocampus. An optimized brain operates like a highly tuned symphony orchestra. You don't improve the quality of the performance by cramming more instruments onto the stage. You improve the coordination, tuning, and timing of the musicians who are already there. Synchronizing, resting, and relentlessly practicing with the capacity you already possess defines the boundaries of human potential.